I really enjoyed seeing Robin and Chopper work together like a WWF Tag Team Superstar Heavyweight Champion of the fucking world!
One Piece Chapter 469. Come out here, Straw Hat Pirates!
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, and I'm here to bring you another review on the awesome and excellent action-filled and oars-heavy tale of One Piece. Now, following the events of the last chapter, which of course was pretty much the Chopper versus Dr. Hogback type of chapter, we wind up going and picking up right where we left off, which was, them, Robin and Chopper tricking Dr. Hogback into telling the Jagoro of the Wind and the Penguin fellow that the ones that had the shadows, of course, of Sanji and Zoro to go and jump from the tower, and that which of course freed them up to go and attack Dr. Hogback. And really the chapter ended though with Sindri being told by Dr. Hogback, given an order, and these zombies are supposed to just follow unconditionally the orders to cover his retreat, and her saying, my body, I can't move. So the chapter ended off right there and winds up picking up for the first several pages right there. And actually this was a great chapter in the sense of how it goes and bleeds into and inadvertently kind of reunites the entire Straw Hat crew. I like when they go off on their own little journeys. I like the pair-ups, the team-ups, and everything else. But we've had a lot of that going on for pretty much the entirety of the Thriller Bark, so, at least thus far anyway. And it's nice to go and see the crew when they're reunited, and by the end of the chapter, for the most part, they are brought back together. But we'll start from the beginning and then work to the end, because that's generally how we go with things. So honestly, there was a little bit of a fight here between Hogback and Chopper. First, Sindri is stuck in place and just cannot move. And Chopper and Robin start kind of throwing around the idea of, like, is it her soul trying to fight back? I mean, is there still a soul in a soulless corpse that has been gone for 10 years? Is there still anything left of the person? And that's one of those things, those questions that you kind of, you see a lot in those apocalypse type things, the zombie apocalypse, the World War Z, the Walking Dead television show, things like that. If someone goes and dies and comes back on some sort of level, is there anything of them left? Their soul, their humanity, their thoughts, their desires, right? And again, it's kind of an argument for another time because you don't really know, but it certainly seems like that's what's holding her in place. Anyway, it only happens for a split second, and then she's able to kind of go and come at them. She's like, I'll kill you two. She's back to normal. Robin winds up tying her up, with her arms, wrapping her up. And Chopper winds up going and tackling Dr. Hogback. Then he goes and calls for some assistance from Robin. And what I thought was great about this is Robin goes and creates like this ladder of arms that pick him up from his feet. So he goes way up into the air, and he's got Hogback around like this, right? He's about to go back for a fucking super crazy Chopper-Robin combo suplex with a tag team from hell, man. And his shit was looking cool. I'm thinking, man, I was thinking WWF. I was like, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Anyway, sorry. My WWF days and whatnot, a little bit long past now, but still remember some of that stuff and fondly remember them. So anyway, as he's going up for this move, it then goes and you flip the page and it's like, in Gecko Moria's laboratory. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? I wanted to see that, Anyway, so Chopper's left in midair with him, about to perform this crazy-ass suplex. And then it goes into Gecko Moria's lab, and if you remember several chapters ago, Luffy had just went and got in a hit and actually jacked up Gecko Moria. And that's where we were left, really. And now, all of a sudden, Luffy's kind of like standing to the side, and Gecko Moria and his shadow are standing there, and all of a sudden, Oars is back there, right? I don't know how all that happened. I don't know if I missed something somewhere in there. I mean, I read every page of every chapter, but I guess we're supposed to assume that Oars, who had just kind of been running around sowing his wild oats, doing what he wanted to, all of a sudden now is an obedient zombie slave, and that his shadow has now fused with the body, which is one of the things that Hogback was saying, is that you may resist at first, but really after some period of time, whether it's a few hours, a few days, whatever, your shadow winds up just fusing with the actual body, and pretty much anything that was you is gone, and you're now just this obedient slave with the blinders on type of thing. But we can see, though, with Sindri, that shit wasn't true. So, anyways, again, it's one of those arguments for another time, but, is the soul still there? Is it not? Is free will still there in the lifeless corpse that's been brought back to life, reanimated through, sorcery and witchcraft and science? Anyways, I thought it was pretty cool though, because then the rest of the chapter winds up being, you know, Ors winds up getting orders from Moria to obviously take out all the Straw Hat Pirates. Actually has their wanted posters on his arm, so he knows what they look like. And he winds up, and it's so funny because he always goes gum gum, and then like in parentheses, like even though I can't stretch, and then he does one of Luffy's moves, you know, obviously minus the stretching part. It's a fun little touch that Oda puts in there that's just kind of, again, it's like a little inside joke, kind of a little throwback to some of the things. You know, obviously, that whenever you hear gum gum, you see some stretching going on for the last almost 500 chapters in this journey, right? But now, you know, when Ors says gum gum, you know nothing's going to stretch from, but I just love how in parentheses, even though I can't stretch. It's like a third or fourth time that it's come up. Very, very cool stuff. So he winds up doing the bell, and just all of a sudden, and Luffy's like, wait, and all of a sudden, double page spread right through the fucking wall, right into where we're in midair for the midair awesome, like, rock bottom backwards suplex move that Chopper is about to do on Hogback, and everything winds up kind of getting tossed up into the air. Chopper has to let him go and kind of shrink back down into reindeer size, and is able to, with the help of Robin, get over to the ledge that he was on. And Ors winds up just kind of falling through the floor with everybody, and the lower level is where Sindri and Hogback wind up falling to. Hogback looks like he's trapped underneath a rock or something of that nature, a piece of fallen concrete, piece of the fallen fucking castle building, and he's commanding Sindri to help him, and again, she's like, I can't move. So again, you feel like this might be her will, her soul fighting back against this person, against the oppression and the orders of this ding-a-ling Hogback, right? Anyways, as the chapter winds up winding down and progressing over the next several pages, Ors pretty much winds up smashing through and kind of coming upon everybody else. He winds up smashing his foot down into the church where Sanji had, we thought, defeated the old pervert Absalom, and he's got he's got Nami, who's in her nice wedding dress, looking titalicious and sleeping. And all of a sudden, as this all happens and he's distracted for a second, all of a sudden Nami disappears. Absalom obviously wasn't completely knocked the fuck out, and he winds up going and taking him and pulling a disappearing act with her. Now, I don't know how she got away, because he can disappear, but she can't. How does Sanji all of a sudden miss, like, her body disappearing? But whatever, man, right? Little bit of a hole in that logic, but it is what it is. He was distracted. There's a giant foot the size of a fucking house that just came through on him, and Ors is now coming at him. Luffy decides that even though Ors is a problem, he's still going to go after Moria, because he knows he's got to beat the shit out of him, right? So Luffy's got the blinders on. He's going towards Moria. He's going to let his crew handle Ors. That's what it appears like anyway, because as everybody else winds up kind of rounding up, and even from a distance from the other tower, following the events of what happened between Ryuma and Zoro, you wind up seeing Zoro and Brook and Frankie all like looking over like, okay, fuck, that's it. So as everybody starts getting back together, and now you've got pretty much everybody minus Nami and Luffy back together. You've got Robin, you've got Chopper, you've even got you've got Usopp, Sniper King, whatever he's going by these days. And as everybody ties back in together, and you see just Ors like, oh, and he's got these wanted posters on his arm, and they're thinking, oh shit, man, we're gonna have to fight Luffy, the Luffy zombie or whatever. And it looks like it's going to be all of them against them. And Zoro, man, Zoro cracked me up. Because Zoro, at the end of this fucking thing, Zoro's just like, sounds like fun, right? You know Zoro, look at that. Look at it, nuttier than squirrel turds. And Zoro going to come at you, right? So that's what wound up happening. That's how the chapter winds up leaving off. And what I really thought was nice about this, and is really part of my chapter question over here, is we get this thing where... we get this point in the fight between Chopper and Hogback where Hogback's like, you stupid reindeer, you're not even a person. How can you lecture me on humanity and bringing people back from the dead and all this other stuff? You're just a fucking reindeer. That's what he says to him, basically, right? And Chopper goes and says, and this is what I want to know what your thoughts are. Chopper says, listen, we got a pervert and a beast and a cyborg and this and that. Luffy's got all these type of people on his crew, but he doesn't need to go and control them to have them listen to him. He controls them because he commands their respect. And this motley crew, ragtag bunch of people, and animals and beasts and cyborgs, and he says pervert and a pessimist, which is obviously Usopp, all have been able to come together and gel in the sense that they've pretty much given the double middle finger to the world government at this point. and combined have a $660 million, $650 million bounty on their heads altogether. So I just want to know what your thoughts are on that. Again, it's a question, of course, about Hogback and what his thoughts were, and Chopper and what his thoughts were. But I like how Hogback tried to write off Chopper as if he was just this piece of shit because he's not even a human. He has no room to speak of humans, right, and about humans, because he's not one. And Chopper, in my opinion, has more humanity than Hogback has ever had. But again, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Answer that in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you think that I deserve it. I don't know what the hell this was. A little video game action there, maybe. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you think that I deserve it. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Thank you for watching. Remember to hit the like button and check me out on Facebook and Twitter too.